district YouTube channel later this week. The content of today's meeting, as I said, was COVID-19 testing, but it is not limited to, questions don't have to be limited to those elements. I just ask that the questions after the presentation be limited to COVID-19 testing, and if there's additional questions regarding that, we focus today's, the beginning part of today's questions around those items. After those questions have been asked and answered, we can go on to other questions that may be pressing, and also be prepared for a meeting tomorrow. That would be meeting number 3, which is centered and focused on the virtual learning environment for Morrisville-Eaton School. I'd just like to take a minute to welcome everybody for the purpose of this recording. Just want to recognize those that are in attendance today. My name is Gregory Malloy, Superintendent of Schools of Morrisville-Eaton, and we have I see Aaron Gabriel. Brian Fairbrother is our Director of Special Education, Response Intervention, Data, and Interim Elementary Principal. Eric Feist is with us from the Madison County Health Department. I have Elisa F., Jennifer Griffin, Nicole, Patrick Younglove, Emily Armstrong, Rebecca Vetter, Aaron Dutcher, Joe Willis. We've got another Rebecca Vetter, Alicia, Tina, Cheryl Freeborn, Jamie Jones, and that is what I see online with us today. So welcome everybody, and thank you for being here. I'm going to share my screen. It's a very short PowerPoint, and give people an opportunity to see where we stand with regard to COVID-19 testing before we turn it over to questions and have some follow-up. If you do have questions as we present, feel free to enter those questions in the chat box. If you move your cursor in the middle of your screen, you'll see a number of icons. The one that looks like a little text box icon, that's where you'll click to go in and enter comments. The questions do not have to be limited to written questions. They can be asked in verbal form at the end of this presentation as well. Yesterday we talked about the process that we went through as a district to put together our reopening plan. A guidance document was provided by the State Education Department that the district leadership team and a group of stakeholders, community stakeholders, went through to make sure that we were able to check all the boxes that were identified by the health department and the New York State Education Department. So the full plan, our reopening plan, can be found online. It's a very comprehensive 70-something page document. You can find that at www.m-ecs.org. That plan was put together in response, like I said, to the guidance document, where you see the cover of that document on your screen right now. For those that weren't here with us yesterday or during the steering committee, you see a breakdown of the timeline that the district has been under since New York State Ed Department recently released a framework on July 13th. The guidance document for districts to put together reopening plans came in on July 17th. And then we did a number of thought exchanges, surveys, stakeholder group meetings. We have a health and safety committee that got together. We brought in the professional development committee and strategic planning teams of the district and some outside stakeholder groups as well to put together the comprehensive document that I just spoke of that was due on July 31st. On July 31st, we did publish that to the website, submitted to the State Ed Department and the New York State Department of Health. Testified that we have addressed a number of assurances with regard to our reopening. Then on August 7th, the governor made an announcement of whether schools would be able to reopen or not, and the answer was districts could reopen, but he also provided a number of directives at that time for districts, including 3 meetings with our community and publishing 3 distinct plans on our website that I'll share with you in a few minutes. And then on September 8th, our planned reopening date is September 8th. It's Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. Faculty will be meeting in advance of Labor Day this year to prepare for the opening days. And as a result of some working through the logistics, September 8th and September 9th, we are looking at having half days in the afternoon. We're proposing that to be approved by the school board this evening. So we are looking at hopefully having half days, just the afternoons on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we will be canceling the half days that are scheduled in March. We're just switching those around. So that's what our timeline looks like. As I shared with you just a few minutes ago, Governor Cuomo's order for districts on August 7th was provide 3 plans in summary form on our website, and those are COVID-19 testing, contact tracing, and virtual learning. And the one we're focusing on today is the COVID-19 testing plan. Our role in testing is pretty limited, as is our contact tracing. Yesterday I shared with you the responsibility that the county health department has with respect to contact tracing, and the COVID-19 testing is very similar. Much of the responsibility with regard to how testing works is handled outside the school district, but the district has a responsibility to meet a certain level of expectation. So that testing plan is here online on your screen. The Morrisville-Eaton Central School District will follow the CDC guidance and not conduct COVID-19 testing or require testing or antibody testing of students or staff members. We will not be doing that. The decision of whether a test needs to be conducted will be left to the parents and guardians in the possible case of student infection and the faculty or staff member in the possible case of a district personnel infection. Parents or guardians and faculty staff will be advised to seek a recommendation for testing by their healthcare provider or the Madison County Health Department. As is noted there, the district will not require testing. That is handled through your medical provider or some other level of directive. The 2 paragraphs there in the middle came from the county health department. If and when a student presents signs or symptoms of COVID-19, and there's a link there that will take you, this guide, again, this document is on our website, and there's an embedded link that'll take you to the signs and symptoms. There will also be signs and symptoms that will be on a ticket that parents have to sign that note that their children are not exhibiting any of these symptoms. But if your children are exhibiting these symptoms and they come to school, they will be sent home. The parent or guardian of the student are required to consult with their child's doctor to determine if they should be tested for COVID-19. Staff members who report any symptoms of COVID-19 are required to contact their primary and discuss whether or not testing is appropriate. If a family does not have a doctor or the doctor is unavailable, individuals should call the Upstate University Hospital's COVID-19 triage line, and the phone numbers listed. And then there's a number of testing sites as well. Please note that when an individual with symptoms is tested for COVID-19, they are asked to quarantine by their healthcare provider until they receive their test results. If the test comes back negative, they are notified by their healthcare provider and no longer need to quarantine and may return to school after symptoms have resolved. If the test comes back positive, they are notified by their healthcare provider, and Madison County Health Department will contact them for a case investigation. The individual will be issued an order for isolation for a minimum of 10 days from symptom onset. The health department will conduct a daily follow-up and release the individual from isolation when appropriate. If during the course of the school year it is necessary for the district to perform COVID-19 testing on site, which at this point we have no plans on doing, but if at some point it's necessary for us to do that, we will apply for the ability to serve as a limited service laboratory. Testing will not occur on site until the application for such testing is approved. And that's the long and the short of the Morrisville-Eaton testing plan. The testing takes place outside of our district, but we've provided the documentation and we've shared with you what our process is for doing that. So this time I'm going to stop sharing my screen and take questions from those that are in attendance with us today. As I shared before, there's a conversation element on the screen that's in front of you. If you want to post a question, you can do that, and I'll read it for Mr. Feist. Or if you want to put your hand up and ask a question verbally, you can do that at this time as well. But while those questions might be processed, Mr. Feist, is there anything that I may have missed in that presentation that you could identify?
No, I think what you explained was pretty clear. I just want people to know that the health department is constantly trying to identify other testing site options We are in discussions with Upstate Medical University to get a mobile unit that can be deployed in our county, as well as we're in discussions with Walmart to bring back their testing site as well. So my department's constantly trying to find other alternatives for testing, but currently, as you described, the procedure is to go through your primary care provider first.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Are there any questions from any of you in the audience? And again, you can, if there's a hand, you can press the hand button and I'll be able to, it'll flag that I have somebody that wants to ask a question, or you can type the question in the conversation thread. I'll just give a minute for questions to populate if there are any. All right, seeing that there are no questions that appear to be populating, Eric, I just want to thank you again. I know that you've been burning the candle at both ends, and we recognize and appreciate all the good work that you've done. Thank you for keeping the school district connected to the ongoing changes and responsibilities aligned to COVID, and we appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you allowing me to be part of this discussion. And just like I said last time, just to reiterate, if anyone does have any questions after this is over, please feel free to contact me at my office. You can go to our website and then the healthymadisoncounty.org, and we actually have an email, a public health email that you can submit questions that way. We also have on our website all this information as well in terms of where the testing sites are, and so on and so forth. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time. Greatly appreciate it. And thanks again for allowing me to be part of this meeting.
Eric, thanks so much. Take care.
Right. Good night.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open up this evening's meeting to additional questions or thoughts that any of our visitors have. Like I said, tomorrow we will be doing a meeting on the virtual learning environment, what that's going to look like, what our learning plan is going to look like. You can feel free to ask questions on that or anything else related to our reopening. If you're not comfortable asking a question in this venue as well, please don't hesitate to reach out to one of our school administrators. We'll be more than happy to help address any questions that you have. So I'll leave the screen open for other questions, or if you have your hand up, I can call on you that way. So I'll wait a minute or so to see if any questions populate. Seeing that there are no questions that are coming through, I do want to thank everybody again for joining us tonight. If you, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to call the buildings. 684-9121 is the high school number. 684-9288 is the elementary number. And 684-9300 is the district office. I'll stay online for a couple of minutes if people have questions. Otherwise, I just want to thank you all for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow if you're interested in tuning into the virtual learning presentation. Thank you, everybody. Since I see no other questions coming through at this time, I'm gonna end this call. But again, feel free to call us at any time. Thank you. Have a great evening.